The moon revolves around Earth, and even though it may appear lit, it only reflects the light coming from the sun. Because the moon rotates on its axis from Earth, we have never actually seen the other side of it. The time it takes the moon to revolve completely around Earth is about 29.53 days. That period of time is known as the lunar month, and as the moon circles Earth, the lit side we see changes. These changes are known as the phases of the moon. As you can see from this diagram, the moon goes through 5 different phases during its 29-day journey around the Earth. The first phase is known as the new moon. It occurs when the moon is not visible from Earth because the side not facing us is being lit, while the side that isn't reflecting any light. The next phase is known as a waxing crescent. It occurs in between the new moon and the first quarter moon. Only minimal light is reflected because the lit side we can see from Earth is turned only slightly towards us. The third phase is known as the first quarter moon. At this stage, the moon has completed its first quarter around the Earth. As the picture portrays, only half the moon is visible at this point. The second to last stage is known as the gibbous moon. It is where the moon is larger than half, but not quite entirely visible. If the moon is a gibbous before it reaches its full stage, then it's considered a waxing gibbous. However, once the moon passes the full moon and becomes a gibbous again, it's called a waning gibbous. The final phase is known as the full moon. At this stage, the side of the moon being lit is completely facing Earth. Once it gets past this point, the moon goes back to being a gibbous, then a third quarter, then a crescent, and then finally a new moon. The cycle then repeats itself over and over and over again.
When a celestial body aligns between the sun and the earth, it is an astronomical event, also known as an eclipse. An eclipse can also be classified as a syzygy, or the alignment of 3 or more celestial bodies in space in the same gravitational system along a straight line. With all the terms when dealing with eclipses, it is easy to forget the 2 main types: solar and lunar. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the sun and the earth. Often, when the moon revolves around the earth's gravitational system, it often soars above or below the path of light that is seen by the earth. But every once in a while, the moon blocks the rays of the sun onto the earth, and a solar eclipse occurs. The other type of eclipse is a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse occurs when the earth revolves in alignment between the moon and the sun. As an eclipse is taking place, the moon takes sort of an orangish color, like a fruit in the sky. Although, when dealing with lunar eclipses, there are 2 types that may occur: partial lunar eclipses and total lunar eclipses. A partial lunar eclipse occurs when the portion of the moon enters the umbra, or darkest part of the shadow. The most often type of lunar eclipse is a total lunar eclipse. They occur when the moon lies directly and completely into the Earth's penumbra, or the lightest part.
When the moon revolves around the Earth, it obtains a gravitational pull. This pull then affects the Earth's tides in many ways. The ocean acquires 2 different types of tides. There are spring tides and neap tides.
Spring tides occur when the moon is a new moon and then also when it's a full moon. The reason for this is because in order for a spring tide to form, the sun and moon's gravity need to be pulling in the same direction. Together, these forces form a tide with the greatest difference between low and high tides. This combination is known as a spring tide. The neap tide occurs when the moon is at its first quarter and third quarter stages. In order for the tide to form, the angle made between the Earth, the Sun, and the Moon must be 90 degrees. A combination of the Sun's pull and the Moon's pull forms the right angle. This type of arrangement makes a neap tide.